Alright, we are going to try this again. Now that we should actually have audio. I'm going to go verify real quick. Just to be sure. Let's find out. Okay. Okay, we have verified that we have full audio. Jesus, I'm so sorry that happened. Oh, seems that when Windows did that update the other day, it messed up my audio devices a little bit. So, round 2 for this video. This whole video is about installing Dedicated Server for Empyrion, and we're going to do the experimental branch, because it seems like everybody has a really hard time tracking down information as to how to do the experimental branch. So I created an installer. You can use this installer for either experimental or normal. It just requires some changes. Very easy. This version is experimental 8.0.4, and it's revision 6. It's already got a pre-built scenario included in the zip file that's linked down there underneath the description of the stream. Alright, so since we're redoing this time with audio, first thing we're going to do is extract the installer that you can download in the links below. I apologize for the difference in operating system. Before I was using a virtual machine. This time I am using my little mini web server box. We use it for fear. It's not a bad little rig. Dual core Celeron, 8 gig of RAM, cost me 25 bucks. I can't complain. It's more than enough to do a test install on. I'd actually host probably 5 or 10 people without much of a struggle. Okay, so you'll see now that we have it unzipped, we have 3 folders and a setup.txt. We'll open the setup.txt first. It includes instructions, tells you what they're meant for and all that fun stuff. Word wrap here. It says these instructions are meant for server operators using a dedicated server set to the experimental branch. Please follow the instructions carefully. If you have any suggestions to make, please speak with Chillime in his Discord with this invite. That would be this right here. That's the invite to our Discord. This whole install assumes that you're doing a fresh install. Of course, the normal disclaimer. You should have a copy of 7-zip. You should also have Notepad++ before you start any of this. I think you also need .NET 4.6.1 or .NET 3.5, and you also need the Redistributables package 2013. I think that's pretty much everything you would potentially need. You don't really need all that to do the install. The install complete regardless. And the dedicated server will run without it. Just some of the mods and some other stuff requires you have those libraries already. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy files. That would be EGS Dedicated and SteamCMD. Now you'll notice there's also Empyrion Galactic Survival here. This is for your client side if you wish. It includes playfields. These are what the SSG requires to generate the same galaxy that we've included. Random presets, that would be the solar system config custom.yaml. And the scenario, example scenario, is already included with its game options.yaml file. Now you'll also notice that inside the EGS Dedicated there's an installer.cmd, which is what we're going to use to install this whole thing, and the start EGS server.command. There's also an Unnight Skies dedicated YAML. We'll get into that. Let's go back. Alright, we're going to copy these two. onto the computer's C drive. Oh, I see more old stuff that needs deleted. We're going to get rid of that too while we're on here. Might as well do some quick maintenance. I know, not part of the video. It's okay, it's okay. I'll live. Hopefully the whole one watcher isn't too bored. Okay. Alright, looks like the copy-paste operation's done. Go into the EGS dedicated folder and run the installer.cmd. Now what this is going to install is the full Steam command that's not in that folder that we copied over. It's also going to install the full dedicated server with Empyrion admin helper already downloaded into it. It's distributed with the package for free, so we'll go ahead and get that done. Now we'll go over some of the files that are included here in SteamCMD. You'll notice we have update Empyrion.txt already in here. And you'll see this string right here. That's what it uses to do the beta experimental. And it also validates when it's done. That validate part, I feel, is important. Validate, pretty much what it tells you is, or pretty much what it does, is it validates the files that it downloaded to make sure that they are actually the files. It'll do that every time you update too, if you run the other script. I'll show you everything when we're done here with that. We're going to go to EGS Dedicated. See it downloading there. It's done pre-allocating. Let's get into this. Might as well while we're in between. This is the program that runs and basically shuts off. Okay, when you're in Empyrion admin helper and you tell it to shut down the server, or restart rather, what it'll do is it'll shut down the dedicated, and then on restart it'll open this. This is the command file that you're going to use. I'll show you how to set this up in admin helper for like server restarts and stuff. You can also start the server using this and it'll automatically start admin helper and kill any tasks in the background and all that fun stuff. It'll patch it, well, it'll update it, it'll back up files, and it'll kill and start up the supporting applications, which would be normally network connected mod runner and admin helper.exe. Since we don't have network connected mod runner installed, it won't bother. It'll just leave it alone. You can also set it to kill that task up here in this section, but we don't have that task listed, so there is all that fun. Where are we at? We're 18% downloaded. So anyways, don't save, we're not going to bother. Let's go to content, scenarios, example scenario, and we'll take a look here. Now, this whole scenario was generated using the SSG, which we have another video on that goes along with this one. That's the first thing you would do, is use SSG to do this. And as I explained, if you go back to this folder that you downloaded and open this content and copy and paste these in, you'll have these random presets right here, specifically the solar system custom.yaml, and the playfields used to generate it. This includes a snow starter, a desert starter, a barren starter, an alien starter. It has other starter planets. In those starters, actually we need to download one more thing here, potentially, because I don't know if I have. No, I do not. Notepad++ installed. We'll download that real quick on this. This is something you should also install on your server. It's what they and myself recommend, they being Eleon, that you use to edit the YAML files. So we're going to run the installer. Create shortcut on desktop. Alright. Now we've got it. We'll take a look at this while we're waiting on all that to go through. That's a standard alien planet here. But the important lines are the ore. It has all the ores you need to start, including cobalt as an extra. We also removed the trade stations from the planets. Trade stations show up out in space. And we gave a survival escape pod with armor light and these items in the various different starts. Because of the drill and drill charges, since there are no basic ore stones already there. Now, another thing that comes along with this is you get all the ores with regen already on, and you get player abandoned stations added in, as well as extra freighters, extra orbital patrol vessels, and the standard bases that come along with it. So there's that. See, we almost done. We're 56% of the download. It's a huge download. As you can see, it's almost 8 gigs. It's quite a download. Now, like I said, we included an example scenario. It's got all those in it. It's got a gameoptions.yaml file. It already sets up most of the game options for you. You'll want to go through and change some things in here with admin helper, I'm sure. We're waiting on this to finish its download here. It's taken forever. So let's see, what else can we walk through? It's everything that's included there. Steam command file. This is all that's in the Steam command folder. Let's see here. With Notepad++, this is the, we're going to say my default dedicated.yaml that I include with this. You can change the URL that's here if you decide to make it public. Makes the server visible in public here. This is the admin config for it. Saves directory, max allowed class size, allowed blueprints, heartbeat to the server, disable Steam family sharing. Now the reason we do this is because when we do ban somebody, they could work around the ban by basically sharing their game through family sharing with another account for free and being able to log right back in. So we disable family sharing entirely for that reason. Game name, mode, custom scenario. That's the scenario that's included. It'll already be in the server folder when it completes its download and we're ready to launch. We'll go back to that folder here. Yeah, see, this is the dedicated folder. Content, scenarios, example scenario. It's already there waiting. This is all the stuff that comes with it. Now, a couple of things to note. You will have to forward ports through your firewall and through Windows Firewall. Your firewall being the firewall on your router, or if you have a separate firewall like we do. Some people have like cable modem connections and they just share with their friends. You'll have to look up the specific information. It's not hard to track down either. Let me show you something interesting here. There's a couple of guides available on the web that show you how to do it. Let me find it here. I was looking to see somebody has a website. It's been a while since I've looked at them. Now you can look by manufacturer as well, but there's a website that has them all listed, and I cannot remember what it is. I don't think anybody watching would. I know my router's config, but we'll do that off screen when we get to it. Okay, it appears that it's done. So this is what it installs in your EGS dedicated folder. As you can see here, it's pretty much completely done. Admin helper is the first thing you're going to want to configure. We'll get it open here. So like I said, it's pretty much a one-click install for everything. Once you copy it and paste it on your C drive for your server. I do recommend running a dedicated server if you have to rent one, or there are other servers that are called dedicated, but they're not dedicated. You don't have a full operating system. They have a web panel, and this installation is not compatible with that. Okay, so this is Admin Helper. We're going to click OK here, because it's on the server where the Empyrion server will be running. It's not remote. We don't have to worry about setting all that up. This is the basic information for dedicated config. Everything that was already preset, we have set. Example scenario, survival, server port, server name, all that stuff's already set. We're going to change the server port to default. It's the very first thing we're going to change. And then we're going to go down to config here, and we're going to walk through all the different configuration options. Now you'll notice it already selects your Unknown Skies dedicated YAML, which you can rename anything you want and reselect it in here. We're also going to use a dedicated command file called startegserver.cmd, the one we explained earlier. Now a couple other things we're going to go through. Features. You want backpack backup turned on. Activate events if you know how to set them up. Chatbot. Reset CB survival. Give them a few credits when they use it. Activate CB go home. Combat log, we activate it so we can tell what's going on in the playfields. You don't want to check anything else unless you understand what they do. We'll explain all of EAH in a different video. This one's just supposed to be a short video to show you how to get the server up and running and configure Windows Firewall and the basic stuff. Activate auto miner, AM info. We're going to give everything but gold. And set it down to give out every 20 minutes. Discord, again, we'll explain Discord in another video when we explain all of Admin Helper's features. To give you the rundown, you have to put your Discord into developer mode so you can get the IDs, and then when you right-click a channel, you can get the ID from that channel, like this. Like see in-game chat here, we can copy the ID directly in here. We can do the same thing for the server, so you can get the server ID. Individual channels are individual channels. You can actually use a different admin channel ID from a whole different Discord, as long as you've invited your bot to that Discord. So we have an admin Discord for all our administrators, and then we have a regular Discord for in-game chat. To show that here, there's our bot right there, Unknown Skies Empyrion bot. And in-game chat is where all the chat from in-game dumps to on Discord so people can see what's going on with the community. So there's that. Okay. And then debug, bug fixes. You want to make sure get ship down, go to ship, and get ship here are enabled. Get ship down, get your ship down from a high place if the player's underneath it. Go to ship will take you to the ship as long as you're within so much distance, get ship here. We'll get the ship from you if you're within 200 meters. Lots of players use it to kind of teleport to and from their ships, but it's intended to get you unstuck. Now we're also going to do game config. Most of this is already set up, as you can see, with regenerate POIs, despawn escape pod. I turn off turret underground check for reasons. If you mouse over it, it'll tell you what it does. Grounded structure spawn, we disable that so that you don't have to build a base to spawn things. And auto miner depletion, we disable that until Empyrion, Elion, allows us to regenerate ore on planets, because that's not a feature yet. We have 9 ways to destroy them, but we can't regenerate them. Not without wiping the whole entire planet out, which is dumb, but they'll get to it in time, I'm sure. Difficulty settings, player progression faster, easy escape pod content, low degradation, radiation and food consumption, normal oxygen, those are your ore config, attack strength configs, crafter and blueprint production times. Pretty simple stuff. Now, we'll touch on a few features, just so you know. Template, you need to put in a file called survival.xml and configure it using this tool so that you can configure when they use the chatbot command cb survival, they'll get what's in that pack, and you can configure that all from right here in template using this menu. This is what it'll pop up for you to edit, and then you can search for items, their IDs, the whole bit. It's pretty easy. There's also a bunch of logs, like if somebody loses their backpack, you can open backpack, load the data, put in a player name, and then search for the last backpack they had that had stuff in it and give it back to the player that way. Really nice stuff. There's also some other information. Like I said, we'll cover this under a more appropriate video for that. In the meantime, we're going to test start our server and make sure that it starts the command file up properly, which should close down admin helper, check for updates, validate the files. We're going to go ahead and do an update check and a validation. It's being really slow right now. Now it'll go through and it'll validate the install. Now again, the reason we have it validate in between server restarts is to make sure there's no weird file corruption or anything like that. You want a good way to catch a bad drive that has bad spots in it that may cause problems with your data. This is a good way to do it, potentially, and it can. I've actually caught a bad hard drive because I validate files every restart. It failed validation, reacquired the files, server started up like normal. It had to do that for a few days till we could replace the drive. Once we replaced the drive, it was fine. That's why it's also important that this thing does backups as well. You can change your backup directory, use network drives, the whole bit. It's pretty easy. And now we're done starting the dedicated server. Tells you it can't find mod runner. Starts admin helper. Give it a minute here. And server's done. It's installed, it's up, it's running. Now the next thing we got to do is configure the firewall and find the IP address for this thing. Now we manually assign our IP addresses locally just to make it easy, but I'm going to show you to find it. You'll find it in Change Adapter Settings. Right click, Status, Details. There's our IP address. We're going to note that real quick. For later. And then we're going to close that. Close. Close. And we're going to configure Windows Firewall. We'll also set up our firewall config on the other screen here so we can deal with that. Get logged into firewall. Now we need to new rule port TCP to 30,003. Next. Allow the connection. Next. All checked. And this will be just so we have a reminder. It's the default port. And then we're going to copy this. We're going to paste it. And then we're going to take the second one, click Properties, change it to UDP, specific ports, apply, back to General, and apply. Alright, and then we're going to click OK. There's inbound, outbound, same thing. New rule. Port. Open ports 30,000 through 30,003. Next, allow the connection. Next, next. And finish. Now we copy that. And we paste it. And we click Properties. And we change this to. And then we go up here and change it from TCP to UDP. Specific ports. Apply. I'm not sure if you have to open both TCP and UDP, but we do it anyways. Now the ports are opened. Now we can close this. We can finish our config on the router. Let's see, somewhere we have 30,000 open for the other experimental. So what we'll do is we'll add rule. Both at 146, same. We're just going to name this test for now. Hit apply. Alright, and technically our server should be reachable. As soon as this completes its thing here. Configuration has been applied successfully. So now we'll go ahead and open Empyrion and verify that our server config was actually done correctly. Sorry, my allergies have been driving me freaking crazy. For some reason, since 8.0, it takes a while to load, so don't be surprised if it takes a minute here. Alright, then we're going to click multiplayer. And there's 8.0 server. There we are, 0 of 10. It is installed, it has bypassed the firewall successfully. And we can connect to her. Let's go ahead and connect. It's a pretty fast setup, huh? Maybe I should say a disclaimer like results will vary. Now, mind you, there's a lot more to setting up these servers normally. Thanks to the fact that Solar System Generator generates a scenario for us, and this package comes with a pre-set up scenario. It makes setting up these servers dirt freaking simple. I'll do another video when 8.0 launches as the main release to show how to do it for non-experimental server and include the same files and everything so that everybody gets a chance to check it out. Servers are pretty cheap on eBay too. They really are. You could buy your own server for home for anywhere between 100 and 400 bucks depending on what you want. Now, mind you, this first connect, I don't know what it is, but this first connect, you always have to wait for it to go back to multiplayer select screen and then log back in a second time for you to be able to connect. Not everybody's having this problem. I seem to, no matter what server I connect to, it's always an issue for me. It has been like that since I completely uninstalled the game and completely reinstalled for the latest experimental version. Okay, now we're back. Now we try again. We'll go ahead and try to log into our 8.0 server here. And there we are. The same starters that are currently on Unknown Skies right now, only these are mixed between PvP and PvE. You can go in and change all that yourself if you would like. On our server, they're all PvE worlds. We don't have a PvP starter currently. And we can select one. We're going to select the Desert Start. And we're going to click Start. And we are going to load into our server. And there we are. We are crash landing in the desert. We'll have light armor to start with. I'll show you what the galaxy looks like in game and everything. says, "Hello, Chili Meat. Welcome to the server." Like I don't do this enough. It's still gotta welcome me. We'll crash land right here. Just as good a place as any. It's a desert planet. And we'll grab from our escape pod the whole 2 whopping water. Load up. And let's get moving. You have little dust devils going on and a factory way over there, and let's reload our weapon. Now, just so you know, you won't get any golems right off the rip, though there will be desert golems occasionally. It takes 24 hours in-game before they start to spawn up. So your first little bit of time is just spent gathering up as much resource-wise as possible. I'm already out of stamina. You'll see all the non-aggressive creatures, of course, right off the rip. Now, you can do this. Little bounce. That'll help. Or you can turn on your jetpack and just hold shift before you land, and you'll use a lot less stamina. And you'll notice Desert Planet has water on it. Collect something else here. And there we are. Now, we'll show you a couple other things here. There's reveal. Oh, I have no permission. I'll show you how to set that up. When we go back here, you'll see my name there. You'll see it there. I right-click myself, click Edit, Set Role, Admin, OK. Now when I go back to game, I have permissions. Isn't that cool? All right. Sectors reveal and map. The Fog of War. You get to see nothing. Nadas. And there's our map. In its wonderful, wonderful glory. And as you can see, this is the galaxy that's generated. These are your trade stations. You have no trade on planets, only out in space. Now you can play with your friends and have all kinds of exploration and all kinds of cool stuff. This is Chili Meat from Unknown Skies. I want to thank you for watching. I hope this video is helpful. Hope it helps somebody. It'll show you at least how to set everything up, and there's a couple of links down below. That includes the link to download it from my Google Drive, documentation on the SSG, and the PDF located at that link down there as well. There's also a link to the forum covering the solar system generator for 8.0 experimental in its current revision. And some other miscellaneous information. If you would like to donate and continue contributing so I do these videos, there's also a link available for that I'll post in there as well. Again, thank you very much. Chili Meat from Unknown Skies. I'm out. Hope this helps somebody.